Gentlemen, are you up in the air about which watch to buy? The G-Shock GBD-H2000 or the G-Shock DW-H5600? Well, I'm just going to give you my recommendations. My name is Jim Kinkade, and I own both of these watches. I've had these since they first came out. The bottom line, I'll give you the bottom line first. For most people, I'm going to recommend the GBD-H2000. And there is a subset of people who will enjoy the DW-H5600. I'll get to that later. I'll make a video in the future in which we'll go through all of the various details more in depth. This is more of an overarching recommendation video. I'm going to assume that you've narrowed the whole watch universe down to these two watches. So it's just between these two watches. So you've already X'd off the list all of the Apple watches, the Garmin watches, the Garmin Instinct Solar 2X Tactical, the Amazfit, all these watches you've X'd off. It's just between these two, okay? So the first category is fitness watch. This is a fitness watch, okay? They both have heart rate monitors, okay? But the GBD-H2000 is a fitness watch. I do not consider the DW-H5600 to be a fitness watch. Oh, the alarm's going off, excuse me. It has a heart rate monitor, but it feels to me like they just threw a heart rate monitor on it for marketing purposes. As far as fitness watches go, I highly recommend the GBD-H2000 because on top of having a better fitting strap that allows for better readings on the heart rate monitor, the GBD-H2000 has a GPS. So when you go to do your workouts, like, you can pick a walking workout, a running workout, biking, open water swimming, or trail running. Those workouts that I just listed utilize the GPS to let you know how far you've ran or swim or bike, etc. The DW-H5600, you can choose these workouts: running, walking, gym workout. It has fewer workouts. I've already scrolled through them all. None of these use a GPS that's on the watch. It uses a step counter, and if you hook it up to your smartphone, it can calculate an estimation of how far you ran or walked. I'm doing some more experimenting with these watches. The step counter doesn't, for me, it doesn't seem accurate. These two watches, I'll wear them together, I'll walk, and they'll give me wildly different readings for the step counter. When this is calculating how far you've ran or walked, I don't know how accurate it's going to be. And I should mention now, before I get too far into this video, that I haven't hooked up either of these watches to my phone. I have not even downloaded the app. I don't like apps. So my experience with these watches is just with the watches, no smartphone app. And another aspect that makes this a terrific fitness watch, and just a great watch in general, has to do with the fit and comfort. That if you see the shape it makes, when you see the shape it makes, you see these wings, and the band splays out, and there's contours to the back case of the GBD-H2000. So it sits on your wrist very comfortably so that the heart rate monitor gets better readings. I've had a lot of wild readings on the DW-H5600. I am hypothesizing is because this archaic design causes the watch to move around on my wrist. And I believe that that movement on the wrist is more pronounced for a big wrister than a small wrister, okay? And the sweat management on this is great. You can see that there's all these channels that allow the sweat from under the watch to evaporate off your wrist. The DW-H5600 is more stifling. Another part of the fitness watch is a sleep tracking. So they both have sleep tracking. The DW-H5600, to me, it's just not comfortable enough to wear to bed at night, okay? As you can see, there's no data for my sleep tracking. because I take it off, right? And the GBD-H2000, I wore to bed last night. Let's see if it kept track of my sleeping. Yeah, it says my sleeping's poor. All right, that's why I'm drinking caffeinated beverages throughout the day, I guess. One thing about this watch, one minor point in terms of the fitness, is that if you go into the settings, you can select a watch face that will display your heart rate throughout the day. For some people who insist that they just want a basic heart rate monitor, this would be it. All right, you look down at the watch and you see your heart rate on the main screen. To see this watch out of the box does not have a watch face that will show your heart rate, which is very frustrating. But with a software update, Casio may have updated that in the software. But like I said, I haven't updated these. So out of the box, the DW-H5600 can display your heart rate all the time. The next category we're going to look at between these two watches is outdoors, okay? And in this category, I recommend the GBD-H2000 if you are an outdoorsman. Because, again, of the GPS, it also has ABC sensors, which are altimeter, barometer, and compass. If you're hiking and you want to know how far you've hiked, you can look at the altimeter. You know, how much elevation gain you've gotten. And it will keep a graph of that too. The barometer, if you know about how the barometer indicates weather changes, this is useful information to have while hiking or camping. And of course, the compass is useful when you're navigating a trail. The almanac, which tells you the sunrise and sunset. You have to know when sunset is so you can know when to set up camp. The DW-H5600 does have an almanac, okay? But for it to work, you have to know your latitude. And the GPS on the GBD-H2000 will automatically update your coordinates to give you accurate information in the almanac. The DW-H5600, this information has to be entered through the phone. You can't even enter it directly into the watch like you can on some of the Casio ProTreks, which is a huge ding for the DW-H5600. So for the outdoorsman, I recommend the GBD-H2000. And one other point I'd add about the GBD-H2000, a disappointment, is that there is no expedition mode. So expedition mode will get your GPS coordinates less frequently to save batteries. And I have to mention that because Garmin's have that, right? The next category will deal with your wrist size, okay? Hands down, the GBD-H2000 is the best watch in the entire watch universe for a big wrister, okay? Even if you don't want to use all of the extraneous features, this band is long, okay? This band is a lot longer than the DW-H5600, and the fit is amazing because the band splays out. So for big wrister, you know, the GBD-H2000 is the one I'd recommend. So for small wristers, small wristers are the ones whom I'd recommend this for, just because it closes in smaller, the band, and the band naturally points down. The other category that the DW-H5600 would be for your sleeve, how much space you have under your sleeve. The DW-H5600 is, I believe I measured it to be about 5/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, but that's with burying this heart rate monitor in your flesh, which leaves an imprint that looks like the Paw Patrol, okay? And this is much easier to fit under your sleeve than this huge watch, the GBD-H2000, which I measured to be at its widest point about 3/4 of an inch. Tight sleeves, the DW-H5600. Denise is trying that on. You can see that
it fits me a lot better.
Fits a lot better, less overhang. All right, thank you, D. All right, looks, the next category. Which one looks better? The DW-H5600 looks fantastic. It looks amazing. The MIP screen looks so crisp and clear, and it has this little reflective detail that goes around the solar panel, which is, and the solar panel itself is the color of cassette tape. It looks really cool. This one looks like one of those G-Shock monstrosities. It looks department. It looks like this one, you know, came off the Batmobile. But even still, this watch looks great because it's that classic square look. So if you are into that square look and you want an MIP screen, obviously I'd recommend the DW-H5600. But if you are someone who is a purist in your G-Shock squares, even though this has a square design, it still doesn't match the aesthetic of a square because the whole interface of the watch is absolutely terrible, okay? Getting around this watch using these buttons is a horrible experience, and this costs a lot more than the regular square. So if you are a G-Shock square purist, I would say wait this one out. Don't get either one. Wait for Casio to figure out what they're doing. Which brings us to the next category. It has to do with standalone watch, okay? The GBD-H2000 is the one I'd recommend if you want to take a watch out of the box, slap it on your wrist, and use it, okay? The interface of the DW-H5600 is so terrible that even though you can use it without the smartphone app, it would be so horrible that you'd find yourself, you'd have to just to save yourself from getting a pulmonary embolism, okay? GBD-H2000 is the rugged standalone watch that doesn't need your app. I have not used this once on an app, and I've gotten everything I want out of it. The DW-H5600 is the one I'd recommend for the next category, which is if you like Bluetooth. If you want a Bluetooth connected watch, the DW-H5600 is the way to go. So what will happen is that both of these watches have alarms, and they can beep. So they can beep and have an audible alarm to let you know if on your phone you got a notification. And in the app, you can adjust which notifications you get. Neither one of them can take calls. Neither one of them has a microphone. So all you're going to be doing is getting notifications. And the GBD-H2000 is a little too big to have on your wrist just to have a Bluetooth connectivity. The DW-H5600 is, you know, it's diminutive enough that if you just wanted something on your wrist to let you know if you have notifications on your phone, this would be the way to go. The profile of each wearers of this watch. So the GBD-H2000 is the one I'd recommend for, you know, the Tough Mudder guy, the CrossFit guy, the hiker, the cyclist, and it's the outdoorsman. It's a big watch. The DW-H5600 would be if you work in an office, you're more of a business casual type of look, and a small wrister. All right, so GBD-H2000 is a jock, DW-H5600 is the nerd. My name is Jim Kinkade. Thanks for watching.